The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
We've fought in many places. In our veins the red blood flows. And the price we paid for freedom, every veteran knows. And the battle.
And welcome to the Pet Show. Good morning, everyone, on this Veterans Day. I'm glad to be with you, sharing some stories. I'll share some independent stories and personal stories as well. It's Veterans Day, but I'm here to answer all of your pet and animal questions. So if you love animals, I'm assuming you do. Care about wildlife and the environment, I'm assuming you do, and really want to try to understand your dog's behavior. You know, what really drives me crazy is when people look at their dog or their cat and they try to understand their behavior from our perspective, which really confuses everybody, including the pet. So if you have questions or comments, stay tuned. Once again, right here, right now, it's time for the Pet Show, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet lifestyle show. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away, so hop up on my couch. Bring that furry little buddy with you, folks. It is that time, once again, to let the animal analyze me. And by the way, Alex, thanks for that opening. I really, really do appreciate it. We're going to be spending today answering all your questions like we always do. I'll give you the topics coming up, but it is Veterans Day, and as a veteran myself, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. What an incredible day I had yesterday. They celebrated Veterans Day at the Santa Monica Pier yesterday. Just incredible. There are obviously a lot of politicians there, a lot of veterans, and it was kind of interesting because a lot of people are totally unaware. I don't even know if you're aware of this, Alex, that of all Americans, only 7% of Americans ever served in the armed forces. Just 7% of Americans are veterans, which is kind of interesting. And it gave me the opportunity to meet some incredible people yesterday, talk to them. Of course, I asked them how their dogs and cats were. But you know what? What an amazing country we live in. And we should all be so proud of those that have served, men, women, dogs, whatever served, anyone who put their time in, anyone who raised their arm and said, I will, anyone who wore dog tags around their neck, anyone who had to kiss their mom goodbye, kiss their wife goodbye, their best friends goodbye, and head off to overseas. Bless you, and thank you for your service. Believe me, I know how difficult it can be to be away from home, just as difficult not only for the veterans serving themselves, but for their families at home as well. I was obviously young. I was, 19 years old when I enlisted in the military. Never got drafted, never would have gotten drafted. It was my choice to enlist in the military. I just felt that I had some friends there, and it was, something that I felt that I had to do. And I have no whatsoever to those that didn't serve. I admire them as well. But the bottom line is, I'm proud that I did and will be proud every single day. For those of you who came into my office, if you're on YouTube, you can see behind me, the most important thing I have hanging up there is my honorable discharge and my dog tags and some other Vietnam memorabilia. So anyway, welcome to the Pet Show. It's your show. Plenty of time to answer all of your pet and animal questions. Lots of amazing stuff to give away. So if you have a dog that's jumping, humping, digging, a cat that's scratching, not using the litter box, doesn't get along with the new cat that came into the house, you're dating someone your dog doesn't like, you can't take your dog for a walk, great time to give me a call. If you're new to the show or a regular listener to the show, it makes no difference. Everyone that calls into the show today will get a fabulous gift, many worth as much as $50, but not for you. It's for that beautiful dog or cat. So great time to give me a call. If you have a question about your dog, a comment about your dog, want to ask me about training, some military, whatever you want to do, it's that kind of show today. And just a reminder that everyone that does call in and speak to me will get a fabulous gift for their dog or cat. So the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. That is the way to get through. Got lots of great stuff to give away. I have hugs and kisses for your cats. I got Orthrosuit Gold, copies of my best-selling books, Lucy Pet Food, natural flea spray, t-shirts, just lots of great stuff to give away. So if you have a question or comment, or if you want to share a story, You want to tell me about someone in your family that was a veteran? I'd love to hear. We're kind of a mixed show today, a little bit of Veterans Day and a little bit of more pet than veterans. We'll talk about both. 866-870-KRLA. So it was interesting because I'm at the Santa Monica Pier yesterday, and anyone who served at about the time I served, that spent any time on any Air Force base, whether it be Tonsanute, Da Nang, or Lackland in Texas, can probably tell you the difference sounds of different helicopters. I mean, I can go to sleep and hear UEs to this day. However, yesterday at the pier in Santa Monica, besides an amazing turnout by people, and bless them all for being there, they had a flyover with some, why am I going blank? I always go blank on these names. Not Apache. What's the other helicopter? Come on, Warren. Anyway, these gun helicopters that I've never really seen up close. I guess they're relatively new, but this sounds a little bit different. They seem a little quieter than the helicopters that I remember. And I had the opportunity also to speak to some great veterans out there. One lady who I was speaking to had lost her leg, just an incredible woman. She had a little terrier service dog that she was explaining to me, Warren, what can I do? The dog doesn't like women, he only likes men. So I said, what's the problem? So plenty of time for your calls, lots of great stuff to give away. I'm excited. It's Veterans Day is not Memorial Day. Memorial Day is to honor those that served and didn't make it home. Veterans Day is to honor those that served and for most cases didn't make it home. But here's the most important thing I can say. When you watch the news, excuse me, when you watch the news and you think that America is falling apart, and you watch the news and you see these rallies and this and that and the other thing, well, let me tell you, thank God I had a hanky with me yesterday, Denise. Thank you for giving it to me. At the end of the ceremony, a female general, I wish I remembered her name, but a female, I think it was a 3-star general, and there were like 20 or 30, I'm going to say young kids in there, but they're not young kids. Obviously, they're over 18. And they all did one thing that brought a tear to my eye because I remember it so well. On the pier in Santa Monica yesterday, they raised their right hand and they were inducted into the Armed Service of the United States. Godspeed, stay safe, be proud, be always proud of what you've done. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Got some great, let me tell you what's coming up on the show. I forgot. We all love our pets and love to watch them when they get new toys. But are those toys really safe? Today we're going to take a look at what you really need to do to check your dog's toys and gifts they get before you give it to them. And you also need to know your dog's chewing style. A lot of people don't know that. I have one dog that's a soft chewer, another dog that's a hard chewer. Also coming up on today's show, my cat people out there, listen carefully. You're not going to hear this anywhere else, but I'm going to tell you, you better watch out what you say to your cats. I'll repeat it. You better watch out what you say to your cats. They don't forget and remember for many years. So just how good is your cat's memory? Stay tuned. I think you're going to be surprised and maybe a bit scared as well. And also coming up, I know we don't like to think about it, but November is Pet Cancer Awareness Month. It's a topic that could be devastating to pet guardians out there. I'll tell you what you need to know. And also coming up, there's a lot more to your dog's tail than wagging and chasing. We'll talk about that as well as always. Plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. The question of the day is pretty simple. I always use the question that I've been asked during the week for you guys. I was asked recently, who's easier to live with, your pets or your spouse? I hope Denise isn't listening today. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. The phones are getting jammed up. I'm going to get right to your calls. I have to blow off everything I will on this Veterans Day. And by the way, I want to thank the lovely Suzette. She'll be answering your calls. And Alex, he's okay. My engineer, Alex, incredible guy. He's going to be playing some real nice patriotic music on this Veterans Day weekend. Now, can I tell you something that bugs me? And then I promise I'll get to your calls. No, I'm a pretty patriotic guy, I really am. And the bottom line is, this morning, actually I put it up yesterday, I got up and took down my flag of a bunch of dogs hanging out next to a station wagon ready for the beach and put up my American flag. And when I got up this morning, I went outside, it was early, and I looked down my block in Santa Monica. Successful area, people have good jobs for the most part. 2 flags. 2 flags. Do they not know how to say thank you? Do they not care? Do they not understand? You know, when a veteran drives by a house with a flag, God, what a feeling that is. So please, if you respect those that serve, put up a flag. What's the big deal? It means so much, that 7%, that gave you the freedoms that you live with every single day. All right, right to the phones here. We're going to start it. Betty says she has a good rescue story. Betty, I'll be the judge of that. Let's go to Betty first. Hey, Betty, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, thanks for taking my call. I rescued a 15-year-old abused and neglected dog. Her nails were overgrown. She had a tumor on her. Her original owner was good, but then another person took over. I was told the dog had been kicked and hit, and you could tell approaching her, she would shy away.
Oh, gosh.
I've had her about 2 months, and it just brings a tear to my eye. Instead of cowering, she actually comes and asks for affection now.
You know, you bring a tear to my eye. You know, people say, Warren, you know, you've been doing the show for 43, 44 years, you know, do something. The bottom line is, you're exactly the reason I continue doing the show and will continue doing the show as long as I'm on the right side of the dirt, Betty. And the reason I say that is because not too many people will understand a woman like you going out and adopting a 15-year-old abused dog, bringing it into your home, knowing he's not going to be around or she's not going to be around for that long. Right. But your goal is to make sure when she does cross that rainbow bridge, she crosses that rainbow bridge just knowing that she was cared for and loved. And bless you for giving her that opportunity. And anyone who's ever adopted an older dog or a senior cat knows exactly what I'm saying. They look at you with that thank you in their eyes every single day, just like this dog coming over to you for affection.
And that is my goal, to let her know when her time is gone that she is loved. She also has cancer, but it is very low grade. I am 82, so I knew better than to get a younger dog.
Sure.
But I have a question, Warren.
Okay.
She does not see well, and she barks. Once she settles down, she's very good with people, but the barking is quite an issue.
All right, so here's what I would recommend that you do, okay? How's her hearing? Her hearing's pretty good?
Very good, yes.
Okay, so here's what I would do. There's no way I'm going to tell you to correct this dog, okay? I'm going to tell you to give your friends earplugs if they don't like barking at a 15-year-old dog. But what I would do at this point is did she play with toys at all?
No.
Okay. Try to find something she absolutely loves. I don't want to correct her. It's her way of responding. Mm-hmm. You know, what I would do is kind of distract her a little bit at that point. Maybe find something special, a special treat, whatever you need to do. Just distract her a little bit. Don't correct her. How long does the barking go on for? 5 minutes, maybe 10?
No, it's mainly when somebody comes into the house. She even barks at me when they come into the house.
Bark. What's her name? What's the dog's name?
Lucy.
How convenient. My next commercial's for Lucy Petfoot. Lucy, here's the deal, Lucy. I want you to bark as much as you want for the next 20 years. Bark. What other trainer would tell you to let your dog bark? But only me, because I really want her to enjoy what time she has. And I probably, even though you may think her hearing's as good as it is, it may not be as sharp as you think it is. And when the sight goes out in the eyes, sometimes that can encourage actual barking as well, because they're not seeing things.
It's so awkward because she gets vicious when people try to get to her. And I take her down to a retirement center, and the people want to pet her. And she's good when she settles down, but the initial reaction is barking. But
her initial reaction probably around people prior to you was being abused. So her initial reaction is going to be protective at this point. So, but little by little, she'll come around. And what an amazing lady you are, really. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of what I want to send you. Just so.
How about a T-shirt?
You got it. Not a problem. So we're going to send you, I'm going to put you on hold. Bless you again. And keep me posted. Can you keep us, because now you got all my listeners crying, okay? And,
I will.
In a good way, but keep.
Rather quickly, my flag flies every day, and I currently have my husband's folded flag in my front window.
Oh, God bless
Happy
you.
Veterans Day.
And thank you so much, and God bless you. I'm going to put you on hold. God, Suzette, let's send her a T-shirt and a big hug and a kiss and a thank you. God, great call, by the way. Let me take a break. When we come back, I'm going to scratch my topics. We got Steve calling from Arcadia, Tim calling from Carson, Catherine calling from North Hollywood, Annette calling from Los Angeles, Natalie calling from Simi Valley. You guys are putting me to work on Veterans Day, but that's okay. I love every single question you ask. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls here on The Pet Show. Lucy Pet. right, I should let it play the Air Force song for all those that served in the U.S. Air Force. Some of the bases maybe I knew well, Da Nang, Tonsanute, Cam Bay. Thank you, guys. And thank you for starting us out with the Air Force hymn. Hey, we're back on the Pet Show. The phone number on this Veterans Day, the phone number 866-870-KRLA. Just slow down, I'm a little keyed up. I think I had too much coffee today. Back to my decaf. Let me take another phone call right now. We're going to get to all your calls, I promise. Great time to call me. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a call from Steve in Arcadia. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hey, good morning, Warren. Thank you for taking my call. Quick shout out to both my father and my brother, who were military veterans. My father served in World War II on the USS Tripoli in the Pacific, and my brother fought as a Marine at Khe Sanh in Vietnam. Both have passed away, but I've never forgotten them. Thank you.
Well, no, thank you. And let me tell you, your brother fought at one of the toughest battles in Vietnam. Khe Sanh was, I recently met a survivor of Khe Sanh, and a lot of PTSD. It was a tough fight.
Yes, it was a terrible, terrible thing. But anyway, thank you for, bringing it up. I'm glad people haven't forgotten about the guys that really have served us well, including yourself. Thank you. I do have a quick question.
Sure.
I do work in people's homes, and I'm currently working in a house where they have two dogs. And every time I show up, the dogs lunge, in a very friendly way, very excited way, but they jump at me, and they always seem to go like right for the midsection, if you know what I mean. And I literally started wearing an athletic cup when I go there now, because they have these long noses, and and the owners, they tell them to stop, and but they don't seem to. It happens every time, and I'm wondering if there's something I can do myself, or maybe there's something I can say to them to get them to kind of get control of their dogs.
There's not. I don't think there's a man alive that has not been doubled over by a dog running into his crotch at one time or another. Yeah. Just the way. Believe me, I've been bent over many, many times. Here's the scenario, though. It's not your dogs. So in other words, it's something they would have to really work on. What you could do is what I would do if I were you, and they were doubling you over. No one wants to get hit in the groin every day. What I would be doing at this point is I would actually have a couple of toys. And as soon as you walk in, hand the dogs the toys or toss the toys so they're away from you, looking at their new toys, so that after a couple of minutes playing with their new toys, they're not as excited as they are and less apt to run into you at that point. I don't want to correct them because you're saying they're doing it because they like you. It's not that they're doing it to hurt you on purpose. But I got to tell you, it hurts. What are those things? Don't ballet dancing men, don't they wear something that protects them? What am I missing?
I would imagine that they do.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve. No, I was just gonna say there's got to, the athletic supporter. I don't think an athletic supporter is going to make any difference. I think you're still going to feel the pain. Maybe a cup, for those people who know what I'm talking. Maybe a cup is the way to go. But I think the best thing to do at this point is if the people really want to resolve the issue, they should do some basic training and get some control over the dog so they can get them over the initial excitement when someone does ultimately come into the household. But the bottom line is you can't train their dog, so the best way to do is at least distract them at that point so that you can get in without having groin problems. How's that sound?
That's great. Thank you, Warren.
Hey, Steve, do you have any dogs of your own?
Well, I used to. I'm currently petless, but that may change in the near future.
Well, you let me know it changed. In the meantime, though, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm sending you a T-shirt as well that says, "None of my friends walk upright." And, man, is that true. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. The phones are jamming. As you see, I'm not going to do my topics. We've got some great calls coming in. Let me tell you what's coming in. I'm going to get to Tim in a minute. A peeing pug, we got to deal with that. I love Catherine. She's calling from North Hollywood. And does anyone else out there have this problem? Because I hear it all the time. Her cat thinks that the people on TV are real. And the cat is scared. I've worked with a lot of TV people. None of them are real. Let me just tell from that point of view. But we'll get to you as well, Catherine. We also got Natalie calling with a neighbor's dog barking, and it's annoying. Obviously, it is. And let's see, we have Steve from Palos Verdes calling. We got a bunch of people calling. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. You know what? Let me do this. Let me start out with you, Tim. I'm probably going to have to put you on hold, and then we'll get back to you. Hey, Tim, what's up?
Hello.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Warren?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for your service, and all the other people out there have served, Home of the Free because of the Brave.
Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
So how can I help you, Tim?
So I have a 1-year-old pug. He's not fixed, and he's peeing everywhere. He just lifts his leg on everything.
Why isn't he neutered?
We just decided not to do that to him.
Why? I'm just asking. I'm not going to, why?
My wife doesn't want to take his nuts off, I guess.
Well, let me explain something to you and your wife, okay? I'm assuming you love this dog. You're calling me with an issue, right? If I were to tell you that the dog would be a lot healthier if you neutered him, would that make the decision a little bit easier? In other words, a dog that is neutered is less apt to get prostate cancer, testicular cancer. We know that. There's a lot of behavioral things. The dog's peeing all over the house. Probably the reason for that, he's being territorial and marking the house because you're bringing other scents in from other animals. Even though you're not playing with other animals, just walking down the sidewalk and walking into your house, you're bringing those scents into your home. So all of those things will encourage the dog to go. So my first recommendation, you got to do what you want to do, is neuter the dog. But in terms of housebreaking, if he is peeing all over the house at this point and he's not neutered, was he ever housebroken at any point?
No, not necessarily. No,
and he's how old right now?
He's a little over a year.
Okay, so here's what I would do. Number one is obviously after they wake up, they have to eliminate. After their exercise, they have to eliminate. About 20 minutes after they eat, they have to eliminate, or about 20 minutes after they drink water, they have to eliminate. So what I would try to do is get him out and give him as much exercise as possible when you're around so he's less apt to want to go inside. However, that's not going to stop him. Let me do this. I'm going to put you on hold, Tim. I don't want to rush you. I'm going to put you on hold. We'll come back to you. We're going to get to you, Catherine. We're going to get to you, Natalie. We're going to get to you, Steve. I can do have an open line now. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a break and we'll get back to all of your calls. You've heard me talk about And we are back on the Pet Show on this Veterans Day. Thank you to all those that served. And the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Did you know, just like babies, for dogs, attention is attention, positive or negative? It's important to remain neutral when dogs act out, even if it's frustrating. So many times, guardians get angry at their dog and respond to their negative behavior, which in reality is just creating more negative behavior, because just like babies, dogs respond to attention, good attention, bad attention. It makes no difference. Let me get back to, we're talking to Tim in Carson, who has a pug that is peeing all over the house. And I asked Tim, and Tim suggested that, had been suggested, but he told me that the dog was not neutered. So, Tim, I can give you a couple of corrective approaches, but I really don't think the corrective approaches with a year-old pug are going to make a major difference until we decide to get that dog neutered. Because as long as he's intact, what's going to happen? He's going to go outside, come back, and be territorial. In the interim, what I would recommend they do is find out all the areas in the house where the dog has previously peed. If you don't remember all the areas, get a black light, shine it at night. Urine stains in the carpet will show up. Make sure you clean those with a good stain and odor remover made specifically for pets, not for people. Those contain ammonia, not a great idea. Then what I would try to do is spend a little bit more time with the dog in those areas where he went. Now, normally I would say you can put down a couple of his treats, you could do this, you could do that, but that's not why he's going. He's going because instinctively he's being territorial. I'd love to, if you can have your wife call me another time, I'd love to get the two on the phone at the same time and talk to you about the health. I mean, I can tell from your voice how much you love the dog, Tim, but a lot of people don't. Go ahead.
She just seems to think that it changes personality. This dog is full of personality, and she doesn't want to change his personality. Having the dog
neutered is not, this was the old saying. Everyone would say, if you have your male dog neutered, it's going to change his personality. If you have your female dog spayed, she's going to get fat and lazy. Let me tell you, spaying and neutering is the right thing to do. First of all, from a health perspective, and I can sit here and tell you that if you treat the dog exactly the same way as you're treating him now, other than cleaning up his pee, his personality will be exactly the same, neutered or not neutered. If anything, it may just calm down just a little bit, but I got to tell you, not enough where you or your wife are even going to notice it. But from the love of your dog, the right thing to do is have him neutered.
Okay, that sounds good.
Anyway, Tim, don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. It's a great training book. It also may convince you to have him neutered. I know it's a tough decision for a lot of people to make. Now, usually I hear the other side. It's the women that say, okay, let's neuter him, and it's the men that say, we don't want to neuter the dog. It's like we're removing their testicles, which is, I've yet to see a dog look under his tail and say, oh man, my testicles are gone. What am I going to do? So the bottom line is neutering is absolutely the right thing to do. I want to go right through these phone calls. Let's jump over to North Hollywood and go to my friend Catherine. Hey, Catherine, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I could not be better. Are you watching a little too much TV in your household while your cat's afraid of it?
I do watch TV. I watch mostly news.
So if you want your cat to calm down, turn off the news and turn on the Hallmark.
Oh.
It's a little,
it's not too loud, but she seems to be terrified.
Well, let's take a look at the news. Let's take a look at the news, okay? When the news is on TV, they're showing images of all kinds of craziness, a lot of movement going on. No matter how loud it is to you, a cat's sense of hearing is better than ours. So very often, when a cat starts to visualize something on TV and they associate it with being fearful, no matter what, they're going to be fearful when that TV goes on. So what I'm going to recommend that you do, at least temporarily, at least for a half hour a day, turn the TV on, turn the volume off. Just turn the TV on, turn the volume off. In some cases, we may have to go a little bit more extreme and actually put music on versus visuals on the screen. But there are actually dogs I've worked with that actually jumped almost right through a screen. Your cat's a little bit different. So, number one, what I would do is when you watch TV, when you turn on the TV, what I would do is maybe put down some brand new items for the cat in another location, same room, but another location, get her focus off the TV. The more time she spends in the room with the TV on and she's doing something else, the fear will start to dissipate little by little. So the bottom line is, they don't understand these motions and these sounds, and especially on the news lately. I mean, I watch the news sometimes, and I got to tell you, I'm scared. So I think at this point, what I would do is, again, a little bit more distraction on that point. Put some items down when you turn the TV on, but just sit there in the room with her with no volume and see if that doesn't make a difference little by little. And maybe start watching something with a little less activity. Maybe turn on QVC or Home Shopping where there's a lot less motion. That may help calm her down a little bit as well.
I'm able to put her on my lap briefly and pet her and have her watch, but she's always watching the picture and then jumps off. I give her toys. She loves her toys.
But see what you're doing by bringing her up and putting her on your lap at that point, and I know that's what we all want to do. We want to put them on a lap and calm them down. But in fact, what you're doing is reinforcing her fear.
Oh, okay.
It's sometimes being a helicopter mom works against us, and sometimes it works for us. So the toys are great, but what I would also do is find one or two toys that she absolutely can't live without, and those toys go down when the TV goes on all the time.
Okay, I do that.
No, let me tell you, there's no such thing as doing or trying. You make progress in small steps, a little bit at a time. There's no instant cure when it comes to behavior. I can't just change the battery and all of a sudden your cat's going to work. Little by little. Now, you may be doing this, you may be doing that. I want you to set up a consistent pattern every single time you turn on the TV. She gets those toys, and I think little by little she will come around, I promise.
Well, she's a cat who adopted me. She's sitting on my wall, and I saw her, and she told me she was hungry, and I fed her, and she got used to me. And then I had her spayed, and I give her lots of love, and she comes in at night and sleeps with me on the bed.
So, Catherine, let me stop you. Catherine, let me stop you for a quick second. This cat came to you. How old was she when she came to you?
She was under a year, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so do we know any background about her? No. Was she chased by people? No. Did people run at her? Did people chase her away? Maybe she's reacting to the TV, seeing that motion on the TV, associating that with motion from some abuse she might have had to deal with in the past. So more time, a little bit more confidence. I'm sure she's going to come around. Follow my advice. Make your house even more interesting. What I'm going to do, Catherine, I'm putting you on hold. I'm going to send you, for your cat, I'm going to send you a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses supplements for cats. You can distract her a little bit by giving her one of those when you turn on the TV as well. Great calls, by the way. We're going to get to you, Natalie. Don't worry. We're going to get to you, Steve. We're going to get to you, Brian. We're going to get to you all, I promise. I do have an open line. Great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break. I have so many topics I want to talk to you guys about today, but the bottom line is this. Your calls on this Veterans Day are my priority, so I am going to focus on you more than I would focus on. I had some great topics today, guys. I really did. But we'll take a look at those and continue answering all of your pet and animal questions. Lots of great stuff to give away. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Hey, listen, for my cat people out there, yeah, you, Catherine, listen carefully. If you are lucky enough to be owned by a cat, you know what I'm talking about. They tell you what to do, what they want to eat, when they want to sleep, when they want to play, when they want to hang out, when they want to get some attention, when they don't want to get some attention. Cats are incredible. are back on the Pet Show on this Veterans Day. Great time to give me a call. I do have an open line or two, so if you have a question or comment about your dog or your cat, want to find out why they're behaving the way they do, a great time to give me a call. Just a reminder that everyone that does call in will get a fabulous gift for their dog or cat. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me just share this with you, then I'll get back to the phone. Something I wrote this week, by the way. I put it on my YouTube channel. If you're not following me on YouTube, you should be. It's free, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe. This is what I wrote. It's important to capture those moments when your dog is behaving well. Many dog guardians fall into the trap of interacting with their dogs only when they're misbehaving, while missing all those wonderful opportunities to reward all those good behaviors that go unnoticed. And so many times, just noticing those good behaviors can make all the difference in the world on how your dog responds. So sometimes just go over and say, good boy. Don't focus on all the bad things they're doing. Focus on the good things as well. 866-870-KRLA. Let's go to Natalie in Simi Valley. Hi, Natalie. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Oh, yeah, hi. I have a neighbor who, I live in an apartment, and they've got two dogs, and they've got, the one dog is a rescue dog. And so the minute both the man and the wife leave, the dogs just start barking, and they'll bark 3 hours, 4 hours solid until they come home. And then I've had them bark, 2 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, and 3 hours in the evening. And I went to them, and I said, I talked very, very nice, and I said I would even take the dogs, because I couldn't stand the barking. And they pretty much told me I was nuts, that the dogs aren't barking, and there's so much noise around there that they have to put up with that I should be able to put up with their dog.
First of all, there are specific laws involved here. Number one, this is not a dog problem. This is a guardian problem. So here's what I would do. You live in an apartment situation. Are there other people that hear the dogs as well?
Actually, no. Somehow the people upstairs have a dog, and the gal tells me that dog's barking, but I never hear that dog ever.
No, I'm not worried about the other dogs barking. Do other people in your apartment complex hear the neighbor's two dogs barking when they leave?
No.
See, that's going to be a different scenario, because now what's going to happen is almost becomes a neighbor versus neighbor dispute. In the past, if there were some neighbors and there was a dog barking excessively, the neighbors would get together, have a conversation with the person and the landlord, and find a behaviorist or a trainer or figure out some way to resolve that barking problem. But again, in your situation, it's kind of like your word against theirs. So what I would try to do is, if possible, if there's someone else that you know that lives near you, or if someone in the building, have them come into your apartment, hear what you're hearing, then you can have that conversation with the people. But as long as you're the only one, it makes it more difficult. The only other thing you can do, and I've had to do this in the past, is you can actually hire someone to check the decibel level to see how loud it is, and sometimes that's effective. But here's my thought. Whenever there's this barking scenario, it's always the dogs that get victimized, never the people. We'll get rid of the dogs if they're barking too much. What you really need to do, I know you had a conversation with the people. I would have a stronger conversation with the people, but you need to have some way of proving that those dogs are barking to the point where you're telling me a couple of hours at a time. Now, I can send you a small air horn. You may want to tap the air horn and see if that doesn't quiet the dogs down for a bit. It may, but then again, the dogs are being victimized because the guardians aren't doing the right thing by them. Any dog that barks for 3 hours at a time or 2 hours at a time, that's not normal barking. That is stress anxiety barking. That is detrimental to the dog's emotional well-being. It's not good. It's like leaving a baby crying for 4 hours at a time. So what these people... Go ahead.
It's a rescue dog.
Yeah, I know, and that breaks my heart even more, because what's going to happen if this rescue dog, they decide, let's say, to give up the rescue dog, it goes somewhere else, gets rescued, they never resolve the barking, then it gets back to the shelter, and I don't want to tell you the end of the story. So I would, again, sit down and try to have a conversation with the people. That might be helpful. What I'm going to do, though, Natalie, is I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you one of those air horns. Hopefully that'll quiet them down. But again, This is the scenario. This is not a dog problem. This is a people problem, and it's kind of your word against their word. And if anyone else if no one else in the apartment complex is willing to come forward and complain about the dog's barking, you're gonna have to talk to the landlord, find out what the landlord has to say as well. Tough call, by the way. Rescue dogs. So obviously it tells me that the people have some type of major compassion, and maybe they can have some compassion for their neighbor as well. Provided that's the case. I have been to situations, and this is nothing against you, Natalie, but I've been to situations where the neighbor just would complain about a dog barking for 5 or 10 minutes, and it would make it seem like hours and hours and hours, which is not always the case. By the way, I got a couple of open lines. We got a whole other hour to go. Stephen, Brian, we're going to get to you. I got Authors Who Gold to give away. I got Hugs and Kisses for Cats to give away. I have copies of my best-selling books. I got Lucy Pet Food. You heard me give away some T-shirts, all natural herbal flea spray, some allergy reliefs, a spray for paw lick. Great stuff to give away. So if you have a question or a comment, want to just share a great story on this Veterans Day, great time to give me a call about your dog. I'd love to hear from some rescue people as well. That first call that I got from the woman that adopted that 15-year-old dog, boy, it made my day. So give me a call. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. And we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA. Let me see if I can help out Steve real quick. Then we're going to get to Brian, Jesse. Brian, I know you've been holding on a long time. I have to take you the first call in the second hour, but you have a poop-eating dog. I'm sure you can hang on for that. So let's see if we can help out Stevie. Hey, Stevie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Warren, and thank your sponsors for keeping the show going. The background with my cat, he was a cat that ran away from his home here in this mobile home park that I live in, and so then I took him in. He is neutered, and the cat has been adjusting pretty well. The problem that I see with my cat is that the food, I know that you have one of your sponsors is Lucy's Pet Food. I would really love some of that.
Okay.
I believe the cat needs better food.
But I will get to your specific questions. I don't want to run out of time. So I know you have a question about litter.
Yeah, and then that question, thank you. The litter box that I wanted to get, where can I get a litter box? It's a grown size adult cat, and I want to get a good box that's big enough, and that I want to get the proper litter.
You can any of the large chain pet stores should carry that. You can check out Chewy. You can go to Amazon.com. Just Google a large litter box. You'll be fine with that. Has the cat used the litter box already?
No, it's too small. And
okay. Yeah. So, but does the cat go outside, or does she go inside?
Right. The cat, when he starts to meow and he's saying, "Hey, this box is too small," and then he goes outside.
Get a larger box. When you get the new litter box, before you put litter in it, put some dirt and grass from outside, then put the litter in it. That will help. I got to put you on hold, but I'm going to put you on hold and send you some Lucy Pet Food at the same time. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Quick break. When we come back, I promise, Brian, Jesse wants me to stop a rooster from roosting. We'll get to that. All your calls right after this. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein, and you are listening to The Pet Show.
Listening to the Weekend Magazine on AM 870, The Answer.
KRLA, Glendale, Los Angeles. AM 870, The Answer. Putting our mark on everything with the best lineup. Hewitt, The Morning Answer with Jennifer Horn and Grant Stinchfield. Prager, Gorka, Levin, Officer Tatum, Kirk. This is AM 870, The Answer.
your pet's head. But maybe it's you who needs to be trained instead.
And if you love animals, have questions or comments about your dogs or cats, want to find out why they do what they do, jumping, humping, digging, scratching, barking too much, not barking enough, jumping up on people, humping everything in sight, great time to give me a call. If you happen to be new to the Pet Show, welcome on this Veterans Day. Just a reminder that everyone that does call into the show today will get a fabulous gift for their dog or cat. Again, if you're new, it's not like I'm giving away biscuits. Many of the items I give away are worth as much as $30, $40, even $50. So if you have a question or a comment, just want to share a great story about a dog or cat you recently adopted and saved, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Got lots of great stuff to give away. Hugs and kisses for your cats. Copies of my best-selling books. T-shirts, flea spray. So everyone that calls in gets to talk to me live on the air today will get a great gift for their buddy. Again, that number, 866-870-5752. Get right to your phones, Brian, Jesse, and Daniel calling from Oxnard. Before we do that, by the way, nice question, by the way, Jesse. I'm going to get to you, but nice question, by the way. Jesse's calling from Riverside asking me, how do I stop a rooster from roosting? I think it's, what is it, crowing? Whatever they do. But I got an answer for you. Don't go anywhere, Jesse. I will stop your rooster, I promise. Not just dogs and cats here on the Pet Show. Let me just take a moment here. It's Veterans Day. As a veteran myself, my lovely wife, Denise, just made a donation. You've been listening to my friend Larry Marino talking about Move America Forward, great organization. And anyone who's ever served in the military knows that one of the most important things that you can have happen to you is receiving a package from home. I remember my uncle sent me a kosher salami from the Bronx, and it was like I hit the lottery. So the bottom line is, make a donation. I want you to go to am870theanswer.com, am870theanswer.com. It's right up there on the front. If you can, make a donation to Move America Forward. I promise you, it will put an incredible smile on some service person, man, woman's face, and make all the difference when they're away from home, because believe me, it really does. Hey, the phone number, 866-870-KRLA. Let's go to Brian first. Brian's calling from beautiful Jackson. I guess it's Mississippi. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
No. It's Jackson, Michigan.
Jackson, Michigan. Okay, better yet. What can we do for you?
Yeah. So my dog, I have two dogs. I have two labs, and the one, it's my older lab. She's 9.5 now. She just began eating poop, I would say, like within the last year and a half, and I've tried everything to stop it. Picking it up on a daily basis, and tried crushed pineapple in there. I've tried little supplements that make them want to stop eating poop and getting on her, and I've done just about everything.
How old is she, Brian?
She's 9.5.
Okay, and this just started recently.
Within about, I'd say, the last year and a half.
Okay, and prior to that, anything change in your home? Anything change about the dog's health at all?
So, no, her health is really good. I just had her at the vet. The one change is I did get another dog about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, but she didn't start eating poop until about 6-7 months after getting him.
By the way,
that was my first initial.
By the way, Brian, you realize where I'm sitting right now, it's perfect time. It's 12 o'clock noon. Everyone's sitting there for the lunch, and we're talking about poop eating. Just so you know. Just so you know. But let me go over a couple of things for you, okay? First of all, the scientific word for this, capophagy. There are many different things. Yep. Generally speaking, a dog will eat their own poop. Number one, if they're not digesting their food properly, they will eat their own poop because it's partially digested. That's number one. Number two, and I don't think this is your case, if a dog was overly corrected for housebreaking purposes, very often what they'll do is they'll eat their own poop rather than get overly corrected for it. In some cases, the dog will eat their own poop because they're not being fed properly. How many times a day are you feeding your dog?
Twice.
Okay.
Twice a day, once in the morning, once for dinner.
If you have the opportunity, one of the things I would try to do, if you have the opportunity, I would try to feed her at least 3 times a day if that's possible in your case. If not, it's not. There's a product on the market. It's manufactured by NatureVet. It's actually called Scoopables Cofragia Help. And what we'll do is I'm going to send you some. It's a great product. It's manufactured not too far away from where I live. A lot of people have great success with it. So I'm going to send you some of that. By the way, let me just say to Suzette, because I don't usually give this away. Suzette, we're giving away Scoopables for poop eating, okay? So just write down, we'll know what you're talking about. So I would definitely try that. Have you taken the poop to the vet to make sure that there's no parasites, no type of worm or anything going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. I just had her in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It sounds to me like for some reason she developed a habit. Now it may have occurred after the arrival of the second dog, even though it took a while for her to start doing it. Sometimes there's a delayed reaction on a dog's part when another dog moves in.
And she only typically goes after his, but when I've really tried to keep it cleaned up all the time. Even one time, and I'm sorry for anybody eating lunch, pooped right in front of me, and she turned around and ate it.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Okay, I'm going to send you the Scoopables for that. But here's something I want you to try. Do you know what alum powder is?
No. Okay. What is it?
If you've ever shaved and cut yourself, which I do all the time, alum is an astringent. It draws moisture. It stops bleeding. It's what they use to make pickles to draw the moisture. Some people use it for baking. What I want you to do is go to the supermarket, to the spice rack, buy yourself some alum powder, ALUM powder. Here's what I want you to do, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. Just take maybe a thumb's nail amount of the alum, not much, just about a thumb's nail, mix it with water, make a little paste out of it. The next time the dog poops outside, I want you to just take a little bit of that alum and put it on top of the poop. Then let the dog out. What it does is it draws moisture out of your mouth. It stopped me from biting my nails, okay? So that's the corrective approach. But I think there's a twofold approach. And number one is I'm going to send you the Scoopables for poop eating. At the same time, try a little bit of that alum powder mixed with water. That might be beneficial as well. Keep cleaning up as fast as you possibly can. That would also be beneficial. In terms of eating the other dog's poop, it's not unusual. Let's face it, labs are known for their appetites. It would not be unusual.
It's a maternal instinct, too.
Yeah, well, exactly. So there's a lot of things going on here. So getting angry at the dog, I just want to make the dog a lot more kissable for you. So let's try this. Let's try the Scoopables. I'm going to send you. Try a little bit of the alum powder. Give that a few weeks. Then give me a call back if we have to go further. We'll go a little bit further with you.
That sounds good.
Brian, give her a hug. I was going to give her a hug and a kiss, but at least a hug at this point. At least a big hug. I'm going to put you on hold. You're going to be speaking to the lovely Suzette, and we're going to Suzette. We're sending him some NatureVet Scoopables for poop eating. Okay, so that's on its way. Great call, by the way. Sure. Great time to call me. The phone number here at the Pet Show. I got a couple of open lines. It's pretty rare. I got lots of great stuff. I got hugs and kisses to give away, copies of the books, T-shirts, flea spray. You just heard me give away some Scoopables to stop a dog from eating poop. I got Scoopables to calm dogs down. I got a lot of great stuff to give away. So if you have a question or a comment, or just want to share a great story about a dog or cat that you rescued, I'd love to hear from you as well. Or maybe you've had some experience in the military with animals. I'd love to hear from those people as well. We'd have a great conversation. So great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. So now, my next phone call, I believe Jesse thinks he has it over me because he's going to ask me a question that doesn't happen or we don't get too often here on the Pet Show. But let me try to take it anyway. Hey, Jesse, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing outstanding, and I just want to say thank you so much for my first time on the show, and I'm also a veteran. And happy belated birthday to all my brother and sister Marines, Semper Fi. And I know my question is kind of weird, but I'm my first time listening, and I do, just to let you know, I do have dusk to dawn doors for my chickens, my roosters, so they're not outside in the dark crowing and waking up my neighbor 4:30 in the morning.
Okay, well, let me
It's
give you
just that
some. Let me
during
give
the
you
day-
some. Let me give you some quick advice. Okay, number one is obviously you have the. I was going to say insulate the coop, but obviously you've done that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the windows are closed at night. What I want you to do is I'd like you to leave the coop light on all night.
Okay, I do have a heater, and it's pretty bright. You know.
No, it might be bright, but I would rather a regular light. I'd rather you have a regular light left on all night. I would leave a radio in there on all night as well. Let me recommend the station, KRLA. That's important as well. Now, some people suggest putting the rooster in a separate thing overnight. I don't recommend that at all. Listen, roosters are going to roost. It's the simple way it is, but it's up to us to try to kind of change it with them. So I think the best thing, the fact that you have shutters already, I'm assuming you have shutters on the windows, leave the coop light on at night, turn on the radio at night. I think that would be beneficial. And other than that, earplugs.
Okay.
I've had as many. You know, Jesse, I've had as many as a dozen chickens and a couple of roosters. I used to have my own little sanctuary in upstate New York, and
nice.
You know, it's not bad, but I didn't have any close neighbors, so they can roost all they want, make as much noise as they want. I found it relaxing. I found it almost like meditating in the morning. But some people,
Well, no, we love it.
Yeah, but neighbors probably don't. So try what I recommend. Try that radio on also.
Yeah.
See if that doesn't make a difference
I will try
for
that.
you. Also, what you may want to try doing as well is around the coop, you might want to plant some bushes around the coop itself, which will also help absorb a lot of things from the outside. So put all those pieces together. I think it would be beneficial. I don't have a lot of stuff to give away for roosters, but I'm going to put you on hold, Jesse, and I'm going to send you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright." Go ahead, Dennis Prager. You answer that rooster call. Interesting call, by the way. It's a great call. Just a super call. I love that. And you know what? My listeners, whether it be a rooster, whether it be whatever type of pet they have, the compassion, always impressed. But the phones are jam-packed. We're going to get to all your calls right now, though. Let me take a break. Daniel, you'll be up next. And then we have Barbara in West L.A. with a 14-year-old Lhasa Apso. We have a biting dog, Beverly's biting dog in Los Angeles. We get to all your calls, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me tell you more about Lucy, and then we'll get right back to your calls, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. Warren, I see all these commercials on TV. This celebrity's pushing this dog food, and that celebrity's pushing that dog food. You know what? I'm not a celebrity. I'm an animal behaviorist. I've been talking to you guys for well over 40 years, both here and all the TV stuff I did on, whether it be the Today Show, Regis and Kathy Lee, the Letterman Show, setting up. It doesn't make any difference. Let me tell you, of all the hype that's out there, the food that I choose for my own rescues, Molly and Willie, is Lucy. To all my friends that served in the United States Army, thank you for your service. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show on this Veterans Day. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I was shocked myself. I didn't realize what the number was of how many people have served in the armed forces in America. Only 7% of Americans have served in the armed forces, but there are many, many thousands of people that did their service in many different ways. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. The phones are jam-packed. We got Daniel, Candy, Wendy, Barbara, Beverly. I'm going to get to the phones in a second. But I want to share this, especially with my cat people out there. Listen to me carefully. Something I wrote this week. Something I studied this week. Something I found out this week that I wasn't even aware of. A cat's memory is somewhat like ours. So how long can cats remember? A brand new study shows that the long-term memory of cats is highly developed, with the capability of remembering things for years. Regarding long-term memory, a study that was published in the journal Behavioral Processes found that cats, listen carefully, they found that cats were able to recall the voice of their owners for up to 10 years, even after long periods of not seeing each other. In general, the studies above suggest that cats are able to retain memories for long periods of time. So watch what you say to your cat. They're not going to forget it, I promise. Let me go right back to the phone lines here. Let's go to Daniel in beautiful Oxnard. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. How you doing?
Yes, hi, Warren.
How are you today?
I've got two kitty cats. One, I got scratching stuff for them, but one of them scratches the molding on my apartment, the door frames.
Okay, then let's go over a couple things. Now, I say you have things for them to scratch on. That's great, and thank you for doing that. But do you change them frequently? In other words, that's important. Just because you have stuff for them to scratch on, you could spend $100 on a scratching post. The cat didn't look at the price tag. Bring in a cardboard box. It's like you hit the lottery in Nirvana.
Those too.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. Keep changing those.
Door frames, so they. What can I? It's only one.
All right, let me tell Daniel. Let me tell you what you're going to do. Okay, keep changing the boxes. Don't put the boxes where the door frame is. Don't put the boxes where the molding are. Put the boxes in another area of your apartment. Okay, but keep changing the boxes. Now, let me tell you what I want you to do. In the area where the cats are scratching, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the hardware store, buy some wide double stick tape. Take that double stick tape, put it around the areas where the cat is scratching. The cat will now jump on and scratch that molding, and it's going to kind of like stick to his paws a little bit like kitty fly paper. It doesn't hurt him. But after a couple of times, they will get the idea. I want you to continue changing the boxes on a regular basis. Be creative, one on top of the other. Make a little duplex or a condo. They have scratching posts. That's great. I don't want you to correct the cat when he does it in front of you, because that's just reinforcing that behavior. What I want you to do is just get some double stick tape, put it around the areas where the cat is scratching, and chances are you'll call me back next week and say, Warren, thank you. That's all you need to do at this point.
Is there anything I can put on there? Can you give me some kitty yuck? Or
why? No. Let's start. Why don't we just start with the double stick tape? Let's start at the bottom. We can always increase. Let's start with the double stick tape. Give that a shot for a week or so.
Okay.
Get back to me if it doesn't work. I'm putting you on hold. We're sending you a copy of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. There's a whole chapter in there on scratching. Cats have to scratch. Cats scratch for several reasons. Keep their nails trimmed, to put their scent here. Amazing, amazing animals. Let's see, who's been holding on the longest? Next here, we are going to Wendy, West LA. Hey, Wendy, welcome to the Pet Show. Hi, Wendy.
Well, good afternoon. How are you?
I am doing great. What can I do for you today?
Well, I've called before about other issues, but I have a wonderful dog that he was neutered, and he has a best friend that he's been visiting at their home, and it's a newer I wouldn't say it's a puppy, but pretty much, and I'm thinking about this now, wondering if their dog has actually been neutered, because I found out that they love playing, they run around. Milo's learning how to play with this dog, like literally taking interest in toys and whatnot, so they just spend hours together, and my dog loves it, and so does the other dog. But then I found out that I think maybe he's not being asked back because I think he peed on their dining room rug, and it turns out that the other dog did. And I don't know if the other dog did it first because, again, he may not be neutered, and maybe he's just.
Well, it doesn't make any difference which dog. I'm hoping they neuter their dog, obviously. But the bottom line is, when you bring a dog into the environment where another dog lives, and that other dog's peed in that area, instinctively the dog has no choice but to pee there. I mean, that's just a territorial thing. So what I would have done, and this is the mistakes that so many people make, I'm going to do, you know what, I'm thinking of doing this. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm thinking of doing like a Zoom meeting with all the people I can put together and just kind of go over behavior. So the reason I bring that up is based on the fact that had you given them the opportunity to spend more time together on neutral territory, your dog would be less apt to need to claim territory where the other dog is marked because they've been spending time on neutral turf. So that's number one. Now, is their dog housebroken?
Well, that's the thing. It's a delicate subject to ask people because I don't know them that well. But I feel like I was told.
Well, I'm assuming their dog peed on the floor, so it's not totally housebroken, correct?
Right, not totally, exactly.
And your dog is totally housebroken at your house, correct?
Totally.
Okay, so then what happened here is your dog was just being territorially marking in another area where another dog peed. Let them spend more time on neutral territory. You'll be a lot better off.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Wendy, don't go in. I'm going to put you on. How old is your dog?
He's 9.
Okay. What kind of dog is it?
And he does lick his paws, and he is a finicky eater.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to send you some. I'm going to put you on hold, and Suzette, we're going to send in some anti-lick paw spray from my friends over at Nature Vet. Some anti-lick paw spray on its way to you, and I do appreciate that, folks. You guys are absolutely amazing today. I'm going to have to take a break in a minute, so I don't want to rush anyone. But Candy, you're going to be up from Torrance. We got Richard in Santa Ana. We just did Wendy. We got Barbara also calling from West LA. Got a great answer for you, Barbara, as well. And Beverly calling from Los Angeles. So the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I would be remiss if I didn't run this by you. So let me just run this by you quickly. We'll take a break and come back to your calls. November is Pet Cancer Awareness Month. It's a topic that can be really devastating for pet guardians out there. Here are some of the things you should watch for. And if you notice these, a conversation with your veterinarian is fine. Watch for changes in appetite, weight loss, change in bathroom habits, any lumps. Get them checked out, especially if they're growing fast, if they're red or bleeding, or if they have some sort of discharge. So nowadays, and also, they're great vets out there, but don't negate the fact that in any profession, whether it be human medicine, whether it be veterinary medicine, there are specialists out there. So if you run into a problem with cancer, don't be afraid to ask your vet if you can see a veterinary oncologist as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. A quick break, then right back to all of your calls. All right, listen. You're listening to The Pet Show. very happy birthday to all of those Marines out there celebrating 248 years of service. Actually, the Marine Corps was started before 1776. I believe they were formed in 1775, making them as amazing as they are. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show on Warren Eckstein. Let me get right back to the phones. The phones are jamming. So I was going to do a real important thing today. I was going to talk about how to test your dog's toys for safety. A lot of people have no idea. They'll go buy a dog toy and it's coated with something and don't realize how that bacteria can grow real fast. So what I'm going to do, the phones are jamming and I want to spend time with you guys on the phone. You should go to my YouTube channel. It's a fun channel. It's free. Subscribe, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, and I'll put this dog toy thing up as well as hundreds of other videos. I'll put it up this week. So check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe. So I'll do that dog toy safety test. By the way, it applies for cats as well. Let me get back to the phone lines. I'm going to take you guys in order. Let's go to Torrance and Candy. Hi, Candy. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
How are you today?
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. What's up?
Hi. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
I have two dogs. One is they're both rescue. One is like a Pomeranian mix, and before I got her, she was just living in a cage. So we've had her like 3 months. We've had our other dog like 8 years. And when we take them both for a walk, the little dog will always just bark and pull and growl when another dog is passing, even on the other side of the street.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. This dog, you said this rescue dog was kept in a cage?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't exposed to other dogs, wasn't exposed to people?
Not really.
Okay,
that much,
now
no.
this is a really, really horrible parallel. But listen to me carefully. When a human being gets out of being incarcerated, they're just so infatuated with things around them that they haven't seen for a long time, and in your case, the dog has never seen. You've only had the dog for 3 months right now. Number one, I would do some basic training with the dog. Not that I care whether she sits. It's a Pomeranian blended breed. How big is she? But I want her to gain confidence. And that's where basic training comes into play. It helps a dog gain confidence. Socialization is more important than anything else. Now, also, that being said, you can speak to a lot of people out there, whether it be a veterinarian, trainer, or behaviorist. Some will agree with my approach. Some will take a different approach. And they'll say, well, when the dog's pulling you outside and the dog's barking outside, tell her no, knock it off, be quiet. Tell no. I say let her do it. Let her get it out of her system. With the basic training, once you've got that under your belt a little bit, then you have a positive way to communicate with the dog. So if the dog's barking excessively, rather than no, which may be encouraging her because you're excited, you can use a sit. You can use a stay just to calm the dog down a little bit. So basic training right off the bat. But again, I know there's people out there saying, Warren, what are you saying? What are you saying? I'm saying give the dog an opportunity to be a dog. Let her go out there. Let her smell. Let her pull a little bit. Let her bark a little bit. We'll bring her back. She's only been out of incarceration for 3 months.
Well,
give her some time.
Right. And somebody told me to spray her with water.
Why? In other words, the dog's never been exposed to this. This is all brand new to the dog. Why would you want to intimidate the dog or use some negative approach? That's why I say the biggest problem right now, or the hardest thing in America not to find, is someone who's not a dog trainer or a professional dog person. So much bad advice out there. Your dog is already lacking socialization. Your dog is already a little bit fearful outside, which is causing the behavior, and now the person's telling you what you should do when your baby's crying is go over and hit them or spray them with water. Absolute nonsense. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm putting you on hold. You're getting a copy of how to get your dog to do what you want. Follow my advice. Do your basic training. But I want you to understand the most important thing that you can do right now is, in fact, I wrote this week. I put it on my YouTube. Let me share. Taking the time to socialize your dog is an important part of your care responsibility. Socializing your dog basically just means helping the dog become more confident in social settings, and it should be a fun activity, not a chore. Of course, some dogs are naturally happy, friendly little furballs who want the best friends with everyone they meet, but that often doesn't last. So the bottom line is, as I say, give the dog some time. It makes me crazy to hear what advice people are giving out there. Squirt water with the dog. The dog's scared. The dog's afraid. The dog's not socialized. The dog may not be fearful, but the dog may be overly assertive. But the dog has never experienced life before. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Great call, by the way, and bless you, Candy, for adopting your 2 pets. All right, let's go to Barbara, West LA. Hey, Barbara, welcome to the Pet Show.
Thank you for taking my call. You're amazing.
Oh, I'm not amazing.
Have a 14, well, if you can help us, we'll find that even more amazing. We have a 14-year-old Lhasa Apso who will not sleep through the night. My husband and I were up maybe 5, 6, 7 times during the night, and we just don't know what to do. He needs to go out. He wants to eat. He wants a cookie.
Well, let me go over a couple of things for you. First of all, it's a breed that at one point in the 70s, the Lhasa Apso was a very popular breed. A lot of people don't realize that of all the breeds of dogs, the Lhasa probably has the best hearing of all dogs. They were actually used in Tibet as alarm dogs. When people were approaching in Tibet, the Lhasas would start barking, and then the big mastiffs would come out and do what they had to do. So they have an incredibly keen sense of hearing. At 14 years old, I'm telling you, Barbara, that the dog's hearing is not the way it was. She's hearing things a little bit different. So she may be hearing the next door neighbor pulling up at night, and therefore she's barking. So it's not something to get angry at. It's something to say, everything's okay, don't worry about it, and be consistent. The other thing, does she sleep in the room with you?
No, he does not.
Okay, what I would do is whatever room you have him in, turn a radio on, leave a TV on, a relatively loud volume to block out external noises. I'm telling you, the reason he's probably waking up, I'm sure he's healthy, goes to the vet on a regular basis, I'm sure everything's right, but I'm telling you, at 14 years old, a dog with such an incredibly keen sense of hearing, when that hearing starts to dissipate little by little, their reaction to different sounds is entirely normal. So that's what's going on right now. If we can make the sound within where the dog is sleeping constant at one level, I think that would make a big difference for both you and your husband, and you'll have to use a whole lot less makeup, I promise, Barbara.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Barbara, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. I am going to send you for your Lhasa Apso, 14 years old. What do I want to send? I'm going to send you some Orthosoup Gold to keep those hips and joints in the best shape ever. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. And by the way, the phones are jamming. I'm going to try to get to everyone's call. If for some reason I don't panic. You know I do my Radio America, my Armed Forces radio show right after I leave here. So I'll get you there. Either way, I'm going to get to your questions, I promise. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. But the Lhasa Apso in I guess it was the 70s, early 80s, late 70s, were a very, very, very popular breed, and just an incredible dog. But again, their keen sense of hearing is so important. That's why it's critical that when you speak to your veterinarian, or you speak to behaviorists, you speak to trainers, and we are so lucky to be here in Southern California because there are some incredible people. Make sure you ask the right questions. And like someone might have said to you, well, the dog's waking you up in the middle. Tell the dog to shut up. Tell him to be quiet. It's a 14-year-old dog that had the keenest sense of hearing of any breed. The hearing's probably starting to diminish, and the dog's reacting to that. So let's not correct the dog. Let's try to resolve the problem by being a lot more compassionate. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let me take a quick break, then I'll try to get to all your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. Never forget the Coast Guard. I had many friends that served in the Coast Guard. A lot of people don't realize the Coast Guard spent a fair amount of time in the Mekong Delta in South Vietnam during the war. Hey, we're back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. The phone number 866-870-KRLA. Just before I get back to the phones, I wanted to share this with you guys. You know, we often think that our dogs are learning only during training sessions. But actually, dogs are in a constant state of learning, and that includes learning good behaviors and bad ones as well. So remember that. It's not just when you're training your dog, but actually dogs are in training constantly. They're constantly learning things, and it's the inconsistency of most people that create a lot of the problems. The phones are jam-packed. I'm going to get to as many calls as I can, but I'll give you that number for the network show, and my California listeners will be the first ones calling the network show because it starts at 5 after 1 for the rest of the country and Canada and Guam, but you guys will be up first. But right now, let me go to Richard calling from Santa Ana. Hey, Richard, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you, Warren?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Richard?
Very good, thank you. Thank you. You're a veteran today, and I'm a Navy veteran. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your service. Anchors away, my friend.
There you go.
What can I do for you, Richard?
Listen, Warren, I have a 3-year-old Siberian Husky. We rescued him when he was about 8 months old, so we don't know his previous life from there. He is a great dog. He's vocal like most Huskies are. He goes to the dog park every day. He's very social. The problem that I have is when somebody comes to the door of the house, he just barks incessantly.
What is incessant?
If somebody comes in, he just barks and barks and barks at them.
Tell me, describe to me incessantly.
Pardon me?
Describe incessantly to me. 5 minutes?
Oh, it's constant. He just constantly barks.
And what do you do? And what do you do when he's barking, Richard? What do you do when he's
carrying on? At the person.
Sure, but what do you do? What are you doing when he's barking at this person?
Well, to try to calm him, I pet him. I have him sit down. I pet him, and he calms down a little bit. But as soon as I stop petting him and talking to him, then he gets up and starts barking again.
Okay,
I've tried to have people give him some treats, and he kind of calms down a little bit. But as soon as
Richard, let me just stop. Richard, let me just stop you because you're making every mistake in the book, which is good for me. Number one, if the dog is barking and you're trying to calm him down by giving him a lot of positive attention at that point, you're just reinforcing the dog to bark. Number two is if he's barking, you have people give him treats. Why should he stop barking? If I bark, I'm going to get a treat. What you need to do, and again, I feel like a broken record today, Huskies are incredibly bright dogs. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of Huskies, and believe me, they have my head turned around sometimes when I'm thinking how to resolve issues with them. What you need to do at this point, it's a 3-year-old Husky. I'm glad he goes to the dog park. I'm glad he gets a lot of exercise. But what you're actually doing is what your approach is encouraging more barking. I want you to go back to basic training. Heel, sit, stay, down, come, place, whatever you want to do. When the dog is excited and he's really barking at someone, to reinforce that by giving him a treat or trying to calm him down by petting him, that makes no sense at all. It's like if I came home late and my parents were angry with me and they gave me a cookie instead of saying, go to bed, you're late, Warren. But I want you to I don't want you to correct the dog at all. He's not doing anything wrong. He's being a dog. But I want you to have that control over him with the basics. So what I would do is I would practice basic training when nobody's around. Then if you can have some friends come over, I would work with him when they're over on the basic training, and you'll notice little by little, once he realizes you have the control at that point, the barking will start to calm down. Normally people say, well, why don't you just give the dog a treat, one treat that he only gets at that point? I don't want to reinforce the behavior. I want to resolve that behavior. So what I'm going to do, I hope that helps you out a bit there, Richard. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm sending you a copy also. Giving away a lot of books today of how to get your dog to do what you want. See, that's what people need to understand. Very often, their focus, and Richard was the total opposite. A lot of people were yelling at the dog, which giving the dog a lot of negative attention for what he's doing. On Richard's side, he was giving the dog a lot of positive attention when he was barking, giving the dog a treat or petting him and calming him down at that point. That just reinforces that behavior caused him to get that positive reaction by Richard. So there's a whole chapter in there on the basic training. 3-year-old Husky. Dogs can be trained at any age. I've trained dogs as old as 13 and 14, a little bit at a time. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and don't only work with him in a training session. For example, let's say you're sitting around at night watching TV. Take 5 minutes and do some training at that point for 5 minutes. Then go back to watching TV. Maybe in the morning after your coffee, give him 5 minutes at that point, besides his regular training. And I promise you, he will turn out to be absolutely amazing. Let me take a quick break. Then we'll try to get to Christine, Kariba, and Richard. Let me do this, though. I know I'm going to run out of time. Not for everybody, but for some of you. So what I want you to do is write this number down. This is the phone number for my national and Canadian worldwide show with Armed Forces Radio and Radio America. The number to start calling, and don't start calling till 1 o'clock, but be patient. The number to call is 877-725-8255. Same type of show, give away the same type of gifts. So start calling at 1 o'clock, but be patient. It goes to Washington, D.C. Takes a while for them to ask. Everything takes a while in Washington, D.C. Write this number down, 877-725-8255. But right now, I want to brag a little bit, because if you And we are back on the Pet Show on this Veterans Day. Hey, listen, Christine, Kariba, and Lisa, write this number down. You'll be my first 3 calls on the network show. That phone number is 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. In the minute we have left on this Veterans Day, as a veteran myself, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of those incredible men, women, and canines that I had the opportunity of working with for many, many years. It's Veterans Day. It's a day to be thankful. It's not a day to be sad. We'll do that on Memorial Day. We'll think about those we lost. But on Veterans Day, it's time just to thank those that raised their right hand and said, I will, put that dog tag on, and then decided what they had to do for their country was more important than what they had to do for their individual self. So if you see a veteran, say thank you, and don't be afraid. Put up a flag. It's Veterans Day. Till next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you. One between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and God bless America.